It was a Tuesday morning after Columbus Day. I came into work refreshed and ready to go after a nice 3-day weekend, and I get there about 7:30 and the phone rings and my principal says, Dale, could you please come to the office? And I hang up the phone, and I don't care how old you are. At 41 years old, I still was a little nervous to go to the principal's office, but I head down there like, what's going on? And they asked if I heard about one of my students, Tremaine, who had a fire the previous night. And I did know that there were 3 fires that night, but I had paid no attention to addresses, and I started thinking, I'd never been through this situation before. What do you do when a kid has a fire? Earlier in the year, Prevention First, we're partnered up with this agency, came to our school with a curriculum after the fire of the Teachable Moment. As a good teacher, I had about 85 other things. I threw it into a pile of I'll get to it. And as I'm talking to my principal, I said, I really have to go to my room. And I literally sprinted down the hallway to my classroom, ripped open this packet, and started planning, what can I do to help my class out? I need to process this situation, and I've never been through it. It gave me everything I needed at my fingertips and was ready to go. I felt comfortable teaching this lesson after looking it over within a half hour. The next morning, while Tremaine wasn't there, the first kid that came in already knew about what had happened. The rumors ran the gamut from Tremaine's family died in a fire, their house was burnt to the ground, to Tremaine, there was a fire in the apartment upstairs. We had to dispel the rumors and the fear. So I talked to Tremaine, got as many facts as I could, shared with the class, but the next morning I really wanted Tremaine to share his story. We started with after the fire. I used Module 1, where again Tremaine shared his story.
That night when the alarm went off, I was asleep. When I heard it, I went to use the bathroom because I didn't really think of nothing of it. I thought it was the upstairs neighbor cooking. The thing I heard next was a breaking of glass, and I seen like yellow and red stuff out the window.
Heard an alarm going off, and then I thought it was an alarm clock, and just kept on going. Couldn't find it. It wasn't in my place, so looked out the window and see the flames reflecting off the house next door.
I went downstairs and woke up my cousin. I didn't hear the alarm smoke detector go off. My cousin came and woke me up. Tremaine came and woke me up. And I just remember my dad like, get out the house, get out the house.
I got all the kids up, called 911.
I just remember going and rushing out the house and then hearing the glass and everything breaking and wondering what was going on because I was completely lost. I thought that would never happen to us. It was kind of scary because it happened so quick.
He was scared at first, unsure of what's going to happen next.
While Tremaine had the floor, the kids asked a lot of questions like, how did you know it was a fire? What did you do when you realized it was a fire? Was anybody hurt? What stuff got ruined?
I felt kind of better getting it all out.
I read the picture book, A Chair for My Mother by Vera Williams, where a character in the story loses a prized possession in a fire. As the class and I read the book together, the connections they made comparing this picture book to Tremaine's life were incredibly powerful. It started a conversation on what could the kids in our class do to help Tremaine and his family. And it took a tragic incident and really made us a community in the classroom.
When he came back from school that day, he was kind of proud because his classmates and his teacher and the whole school actually supported him. He realized he had more friends than he thought.
The next day we went to Module 2, where we discuss ways of what to do during a fire. Tremaine shared some of the right things he did, as well as sharing some of the wrong things he did. A lot of kids knew, don't go back in, have a meeting place. Yet all those lessons were reinforced, and I have to say, after this incident, the attention was definitely on the lesson. Homework that day was to talk to your family about an escape plan and a safe meeting place. And I have to say, for the first time at the beginning of the school year, I had 100% homework completion. The kids really took this lesson and took it to heart and followed through on what they had to do. The third day, we did the third module, which was how to prevent a fire or an accident in your home. The kids were given a checklist.
He brought things home about fire safety and pamphlets, escape plans, how to go about it, check the fire detectors, make sure they're working properly.
Check things, make sure that the stove is clear, no fire hazard there.
Most of the kids came back and said, Mr. Spafford, I checked my smoke detector, the battery needed changing. Or one kid came to me and said, Mr. Spafford, on the way home I found a lighter and I picked it up so a little kid wouldn't find it and I threw it right away. So they really, again, took this lesson to heart, and it wasn't just another classroom assignment. This was real. And I honestly feel that in the city of Rochester, there's about 18 kids that really know what to do in case of a fire, and not only that, but how to prevent future fires. After completing the 3 days, the whole feeling in the classroom had changed. The first day was all fear, anxiety, and the unknown. By the third day, the kids had tools in hand and were ready equipped to go home and take care of their house, make sure their homes were safe, and ensure that they would not be victims of fire like Maine.
Next time I hear a smoke alarm, I'm gonna get everybody up if they're not awake, and we will leave the house immediately. If it was like outside and there's like another fire, I would never go back in. Now I have to do a fire. I know you should check the fire detector like every month to make sure it's working and test it out, and make sure that you know your plan of how to get out of the house when there's a fire.
I see my parents and everything. I see them doing stuff differently, like with the smoke detectors.
We don't want it to happen again, but it's all on our mind now.
I know we had to get fire detectors and carbon dioxide, the detectors for that, and I know we had to have one in not every room, but a couple downstairs.
But just press the button, make sure it beeps. The battery would change. I do it twice a year, not once a year, so just to be safe and sorry. You don't think much of it, but you got to take it seriously, because it can happen.
I think the program was great. It taught him a lot about fire safety, and I think parents should know they should always check their smoke alarms.
I think that you definitely got to go through like I said, the escape plan and check your fire detectors. Make sure everyone knows. You think it wouldn't affect you, but you never know. You never know.
As a teacher, you never know when you're going to face a situation like a fire. You don't know how it's going to affect your student. It's going to affect each and every individual student differently, but it didn't just affect that one student. It affected my whole class. And without this packet, I really would not have known where to turn. After the fire gave me readily available, hands-on, good educational materials and stuff that was kid-oriented, and it really walked me through a really difficult situation and made it a healing environment. Our classroom was more than a classroom that day. It was a place for Maine and everyone to come together and work through a pretty traumatic experience.
A fire could happen at any time, and don't be so confident say that there won't be a fire to happen to you.
If I could tell anyone about after the fire, a teachable moment, I do believe that this is a tool, an accessory, a curriculum that every school district should have accessible to them. Every fire department should have it accessible to them to give to the schools.